Walter Overcourt here, you're welcome indeed to the programme. And as you know, every now and again we like to recreate the traditional Ramblin' House, and they're a type of programme that goes down very well with our audience all across the world. And this week is no exception, only to say that it's a very special Ramblin' House. We're here in Gunning's Pub in Rathconrath, which is just a couple of kilometres from the town of Mullingar. And what's special about this is this pub is over 200 years old, and they've been running regular traditional music sessions in all that time. And our show this evening is going to feature not just ordinary traditional musicians. Between them, they have All-Ireland titled medals. And not only that, you've probably seen a familiar face in amongst the musician there. And of course, that was Mick Foster of Foster and Allen. And his lovely wife, Moya, is here as well, and all these wonderful musicians. So we opened up there with a set of jigs, which we hope you enjoyed. We have lots more to come. So our Ramblin' House, as you know, features musicians, singers, storytellers, etc. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our Ramblin' House from Gunning's Pub here in Rathconrath. Well, there we have a fantastic selection of reels there from wonderful musicians here. I'm going to find out more about them here. Mick Foster, great to catch up with you, Mick, once again. Normally we see you on the big stages all over the world there, or on TV or on radio, but here you are in a lovely pub that's 200 years old. There's a great tradition of Irish music here in this particular area, isn't there?
There was all this music, and accordion players, fiddle players, tin whistle players, singers, dancers. So it was steeped with traditional Irish music, and I was lucky enough to fall into the middle of it.
Yeah, because was it a local nun here that got you into the accordion?
No, the local nun was when I was going to school in Ballymahon. Sister Agnes in the convent in Ballymahon, and she taught me, well, the basics. And then Frank ironed it out the rest of the way, and you know, nobody plays a piano accordion like I do, because he made me learn it that way. He didn't make me any better than anyone else, but he made me totally different.
But you play the button accordion as well, don't you? And
No,
do you not?
no.
I thought I'd seen you play it once there.
Oh, you did, but that was only messing. I think I had one. I meant to play one tune on the button accordion. I used to be able to play one tune, but no, I definitely wouldn't be a button accordion.
And do you play other instruments as
No,
well?
I'm struggling to play the one.
A long time. You're the great hero, of course, and you'd give up everything, and you is the great late Jimmy Shand.
Yeah, well, look at I was listening to Jimmy Shand since I was 5 or 6. My grandmother had an old gramophone with these 78 records, they were called. Very delicate jokes on this gramophone. You had to wind it up, and then you put on your record and it played. But I must have overwound it at some stage because the spring broke. So the only way I could get music to work was put in the record and put my finger in beside the lad in the middle of it and spun it round like that, and I got great music until my finger got tired, and then my jigs became waltzes.
Great story. And and of course, you've met him as well, haven't you?
Oh, we've met him, and Tony and myself recorded with him, and that was the highlight of my music career was getting to meet him, becoming great friends with him, and then getting to record with him. And people say that you should never meet your heroes because you could be disappointed, but in his case, I've never met a nicer man. Probably the most famous accordion player in the world back in the 40s and 50s, and he was the very same as any of the rest of us, you know.
Now, as I mentioned there, you play all over the world. You've had sellout concerts, 20-odd million album sales, gold discs, the works. But you still try to make it here to Gunnings for the traditional weekly sessions.
It mightn't be weekly, but we get as many sessions. I mean, this is where I started playing, and you know, when the concerts and all are over, this is probably where I'd finish playing. Well, I'm able, and if not, I'll come and I'll listen to lads that are able to play.
Yeah. And what about the younger people coming up in traditional music?
There's a load of them, loads of the only sad thing about it is that there's very few piano accordion players, but there's a world of button accordion players and a serious amount of concertinas and banjos. So, you know, Willie has more competition than I have because there's absolutely dozens and dozens of banjo players in Westmeath, and I think there might be 2 more piano accordion players other than me, and none of the young crowd are playing them, so I don't know, I mustn't be impressing them or something. My feet are here on Broadway, this blessed harvest morn, but all the ache that's in them on the spot where I was born. My weary hands are blistered from working cold and heat, but all to swing aside today through fields of Irish wheat, and I the chance to journey back where all the kings of old. Soon I'd see the hawthorn tree and the old bog road. My mother died last springtime when Ireland's fields were green. They told me that her waking was the finest ever seen. There were snowdrops and primroses piled up beside her bed. And Farron's church was crowding when her funeral mass was said. But here was I on Broadway, the building bridge by low, as they carried out her coffin down the old broad road. Unleash the weary puzzle as finding out by man. I take each day for what it's worth and do the best they can. Since no one cares a rush for me, what needs to make a moan? I'll go my way and draw my pain and smoke my pipe alone. Each human heart must know its grief, no bitterly its flow. So God be with you, Ireland, on the old bog road. So God be with you, Ireland, on the old bog road.
Dr. Moya Fraser, lovely to get a chance, an opportunity to talk to you. Actually, your music career started off, I think, around the age of 6. You were at your brother's wedding.
Yeah, I had 3 brothers and they were a lot older than me, so I was about 6 or 7, and I was obviously being a nuisance. So the bride's father said, "Here, I've got something, go outside and play with this," and he gave me a little accordion, and that was it. And I was hooked ever since, and I was so in love with it, he told me to take it home. So that was my start of my musical career.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you're from Aberdeen, aren't you?
Aberdeen originally, yes. Aberdeen in Scotland.
You were involved in radio over there as well as
I was,
performing, yeah.
I produced a radio programme there, a Sunday request radio show, and that's how I got to meet
With the boys.
Mick and Tony first. They used to come in for interviews anytime they were doing shows up in our part of the world, so everything worked out real good.
Yeah. And as I said, you're also a very good singer as well. You're going to sing something special for a nice Scottish song for us.
Well, I'll sing a small, short medley of Scottish songs, some of my favourites, like I say, that were made famous by Andy Stewart and the Alexander Brothers. Westering Home, The Northern Lights of Old Aberdeen, of course, my hometown, Loch Lomond, and Maybe I Belong to Glasgow.
Lovely. I'm sure some of our audience will know some of the song and they might join in as well. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Bull Bus for Dr. Moya Fraser.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Westering home and a song in the air, light in the eye and it's goodbye to care. Laughter of love and a welcoming there. I love my heart, my own one. Tell me old hands like the old real kid. Speak of the riches and joys of that.
I'm joined here by Noel Hedron, who has a great story to tell about some of well-known musicians and actually songwriters that came from this particular area. Noel, you're very welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, we'll talk about The Rising of the Moon. Everybody's familiar with that song, going back since the foundation of the state. And that was written by a local man.
It was, yeah. Sean Keegan Casey, known Leo. And he was born down the road in 1846, and he died at 24 after 6 months imprisonment for his beliefs of Irish freedom and fighting the cause for people that were being evicted. So he was in prison for that, and he had a hard time in prison, and he didn't live long after coming out of prison. So he wrote many great works, including The Rising of the Moon and various things. And a group of enthusiasts from Longford a few years back brought out a book, on the full history. It's called Tell Me Sean O'Farrell is the booklet, and so it's a great book.
And if my memory serves me right, I think that was featured in one or two of John Ford's classic films as well. Am I right?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so at the time. Yeah, and there was other books as well, like Molly Bawn, Boating on Loughree. Mick Foster, he made a recording that some years back. He did, but he was born about a mile down the road from here.
Lovely. Now the other person you have here, very famous person. He was an accordion player, wasn't he?
No,
concertina player.
Yes. Well, he was one of 11.
What was his name now?
That was William J. Mullally. You know, local as Will. And he was born in 1884, February 1884, just down the road. And his house was demolished in 1965 to make way for a new school. Right. And so there was 11 in the family. 9 of them emigrated. And
of course, he was the first musician, concertina player, to be recorded, wasn't he?
In America in 1926, he made 10 recordings. And back about 12 years ago, Harry Bradshaw and Jackie Small and Nicholas Carlin, they re-released it, and they brought out a booklet with all the tunes. And it's available from the ITMA in Dublin, Irish Traditional Music Archives in Dublin.
Okay, it's almost time for us to go. Just before we do that, once again, our thanks to the wonderful musicians here, to Michael Gunning and from the owner of the pub here. We hope to have a chat with them in the second part of the show. And just to remind you that we'll be bringing you part 2 of our Rambling House here from Gunning's pub here in Rathconrath in County Westmeath next week. And I can tell you we've lots more great music, singing, and a bit of storytelling thrown in, and a very special guest, so you won't want to miss that. But we're going to leave you now with a selection of jigs from the Mick and the band here. And thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, we look forward to your company next week. So until then, it's long the phone.